let's get started before I get too weird with it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to FunnySad. Thank you for checking it out. Please subscribe, like, leave a nice comment, or we'll come for your head. There are two hosts for this show. I'm one of them. My name is Travis Nelson, but somewhere around here, I'm sure we have a second.
It's me, Vanessa, from a different state.
From a different state entirely.
All right. Your friend and mine, the very funny, y'all make some noise for Arijana Ramic.
Hey, Arijana, thank you for being on the show. Say hi to the people. We're going to throw your tagline right underneath your face. Is there anything you want to promote right off the bat?
Amazing. Thanks for having me. I want to promote my satire blog called The Foreigner. It's basically kind of like The Onion, but for immigrants and children of immigrants. So go check that out.
Arijana, the way this works, as I'm sure you know, is we pick out our comedian friends' tweets that we wish to talk about. It's called FunnySad because the original concept was for us to pick out funny tweets and sad tweets. We don't do that anymore. And I was feeling bittersweet about that decision going through your Twitter because there was a lot of sad mixed in with the funny. Yeah.
I know. I was going to say, I'm so nervous about which ones you guys picked. Plus, I tweet and delete a lot, so I don't know what you guys are seeing and what you're not seeing. So
I tried to go back a little further. I was like, let's see what we have back here.
Vanessa sent me the tweets she sent that she picked, and then I tried to go further back than that.
Okay. Behind the scenes, they don't tell me ahead of time what they're picking, so this is like they're putting me on the spot.
I'll start. I know I'm expensive because if my name was a puzzle on the Wheel of Fortune, you'd have to buy 2 vowels to solve it.
I am in my conceited era. What can I say? I heard someone else say that, and I'm just like...
I mean, that's definitely a symptom of being in your conceited era, that you've defined your life by your eras.
Yes. I mean, that one was literally so stupid, but I just hit send, and then the Wheel of Fortune fans liked it, so I guess I'm hitting my right demographic with that one. But I think I'm the only person under 30 who watches that show.
You know, I have an aunt that won a speedboat off of Wheel of Fortune.
Are you serious?
No.
I have to talk to her.
Yeah. No, she that's a childhood memory of mine, is going around on this speedboat that she won on Wheel of Fortune.
I'm so jealous.
No.
So she was a contestant, or she was like, she won as like one of the prizes, like when you just are a viewer?
No, she was a contestant.
This is so major. That's my dream. I want to be on a game show. That's my ultimate dream.
Yeah.
Through stand-up, I just want to meet Pat Sajak.
I think that's an achievable goal. Like, I don't think that's probably an easier goal than, doing stand-up, to be honest with you. It's probably, they want you on the show. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Everyone tell Pat Sajak to get me on Wheel of Fortune. I think that's how that works.
We're gonna get this as many reposts as we can.
Yeah, if we brigade Pat Sajak, he's gonna have to do something. There's no way he can handle that kind of thing happening to him. Arijana, when this one speaks to my heart, you tweeted, "Being the bigger person is overrated. My heart is big enough to hold hate for some of you who truly deserve it."
Someone just did me so dirty last year, and I was like, why do I have to give them the courtesy of being nice? So
100%. I am the same way. I burn every bridge, and I have yet to regret it.
Yeah, I know, some people are trying to be good Christians. That's fine. That's great for you. You'll probably go to heaven, but I'm comfortable with where I'm at in my life, that I can just say, F it. If you did me dirty, I believe in revenge. I believe in, hurting people's feelings. So that's kind of my MO.
Yeah, I think that the whole be a bigger person, it's better to be kind, forgive people. I think that narrative is mostly pushed by people who by and large suck. And I don't know. If I really find redeeming values in someone, I'll let it go. But I do have that underlying mentality of like, you know what? There are a lot of fish in the sea. Yeah. And if you're shitty to me once.
Yeah, we don't have to like everyone. And we
don't.
Yeah, we don't have to like. I'm like, screw being kind,
Yeah, where has that gotten us?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always say the nice guy finishes last.
I've also been told I'm a pushover. I don't know about y'all, but like I'm so tired of it. I'm like, no, I might smile a lot, but I'm ready to take over your life and ruin it. Like that's how I
And you
feel.
know what? I'm here for that era in your life.
Thank you so
I'm looking forward to that version, because that is something that always bothers me about like Seattle open mics and the Seattle comedy scene in general. Is there is that just like at everyone has to be nice, everyone be nice to each other. And I was just saying that on something else where it's like every time there's Seattle drama, the Seattle drama essentially is that a known piece of shit that everyone hates has been a known piece of shit that everyone hates for years, and they get blown up, and then there's a million people like, yeah, he's a known piece of shit. It's like, yeah, we all knew it, but none of you guys could say it to their face, so we've just had to put up with them.
Well, I also get this thing. I feel like Vanessa gets this too, where like I think people think I'm so like unassuming, and maybe we smile a lot, or when we step on stage we're super friendly, or like Vanessa has a super soft voice when she does her like sets and starts out like saying hi to everyone, and then we'll just say the most fucked up shit, and that's what you know, like I like surprise people, and I also want to be a piece of shit, so this is my leeway into it. So
Hey, I'm here for it. Don't let anyone shame you out of being mean.
yeah, my God. Yeah.
I feel like that's how I get away with it though. Like, oh, she's smiling, she has a little Care Bear face and a little soft voice, and I say some fucked up shit, and then they'll still be like, "That was adorable." And I'm like,
We love her.
right? Like, were y'all listening?
That is the great thing about hanging out with Vanessa is the amount of shade she's able to throw without anyone taking offense is amazing.
Oh, and then 30 minutes later they'll be like, "Did she wait? Was I supposed to be offended?" Like she, like it's,
Yeah, no, she tore you apart.
Yeah.
With a smile.
For sure.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, I feel like this next tweet might be a little relatable to that one. There's really no justice, no peace in this world. I know because I'm still banned from Tinder.
Okay, listen.
Yeah, no, we do need to hear this story.
I don't think I can reveal why I'm banned because it's part of my mystery and my allure as a
No. Good try. Bullshit, though. I'm calling it right now.
You know what?
You have to at least give us, like, what rule did you break? You don't have to tell us what you did, but I need to know what rule you broke.
Okay, I will say I wasn't harassing anyone, but the only reason that I've kept it a secret for so long is because my friends Chris and Bo want to know so bad why I'm banned, and I love holding this over their heads.
As someone who's also friends with Chris and Bo, and I know them both to be very soft, gentle, sensitive boys.
Monsters.
How great of a way for you to enter the mean era of your life than to tell us before you told them.
Exactly. But okay, so here's the thing. I don't ever use the dating apps, but like as a joke, you know, everybody goes on there. But I truly don't use them in sincerity. And so I was like, all right, like I'm going to mess around. But here's the effed up thing. I'm really, really good at editing and curating other people's profiles. And so I was like, I should do this as a business for people. And so like the only thing I put in my like Tinder bio or description or whatever they call it, I was like, you know, Venmo me $5, I'll tell you what you fucked up on your profile. And once you're banned, you're banned for life. There's no contact support. There's no nothing. And I guess they don't let people put Venmo information in their bios because they were worried about like illegal sex trafficking happening with underage women. So not super glam, but you know, just doing God's work here. So
you hear that, Bo and Chris?
Yeah.
On our podcast.
No, they banned me because I was getting too many matches, actually. That's what I told them.
Oh shit.
Your phone was overheating. It was causing iPhone to panic.
Too much.
Yeah. It is actually, I feel like Tinder is like a video game for people. So I feel like for women, you get a ton of matches, but then the guys don't. So it is, you know, whatever, it's partially.
Hey, don't speak for all of us.
Yeah.
Hey, I put 6'9" in my bio, and I gotta turn that shit off immediately. It's crazy.
That to me is too Sasquatchy a little bit.
I'm actually technically not even human. I'm technically a giant. Anything over 6'6" is a giant. So as a member of my giant species, I forgive you for
it's just
your transgressions.
I'm short, so I don't want to like shout when I'm talking to my partner, you know.
No, and I don't want to be shouted at.
So.
I feel like you get used to being around Travis though. Like day one, I'm like, but now I'm just like, yeah, it's Travis. It's I don't care how tall he is.
That is true.
I like
slouch
tall guys because they slouch, so they really look like they're like 5'11" anyway. Because they just have like they look like they're just not confident. They're like down here. It's great. You know, I could take them in a fight. I'm scrappy.
Well, it's not a lack of confidence, Arijana. It's the world wasn't built for us, and we're trying to create a way for our bodies to fit that mold.
I love that. I love a world not built for you. So.
Oh my God. Well.
Then we have something we can meet each other on, you know?
Yeah.
So, tall men, white women, we always find each other.
Somehow we do it. Yeah. Now I want to take it back to the Tinder. You said you've never used online dating except for like as a joke. What do you mean like as a joke?
Like I don't have the intention to actually meet up with anybody.
Okay. But do you make a profile, or do you just put like I knew a comic from Canada who would just like Photoshop crazy photos and just try to have funny conversations with people? Like, is that what you mean?
I would use mostly real pictures of myself.
Okay.
But I wouldn't use my real name.
Okay.
And I would do, like, if I'm responding to someone or messaging someone, it's all shooting the shit, which now I feel bad about because I'm like, some people are really on there to find love, maybe not Tinder, but like other apps. And I'm just like, fuck this. Like, you know, so I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like everybody has the curiosity to try it, but I can't do it in sincerity.
Yeah, it seems like it's less of a joke for you and more of a like you don't want to put yourself on there honestly, because then that would mean that you're also a part of it. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. Like, thanks for psychoanalyzing me, but
right?
I've always just
hey, you said you don't like my people. I'm analyzing the shit out of you now.
I was like, this is probably the deepest we've gotten in an episode.
Oh, yeah.
I just like, for me, like the modern dating, there's some pieces that are really good about it, and then other pieces where it just feels like it's like a video game for people. And I've always just like met people when I go out, like just talk to people. I don't know. I just don't. And I also am like, have always been so busy to the point where it's like, I'm not going to put an hour on my schedule to talk to somebody about where I grew up. Like, that's just not gonna, I have to kind of know someone a little bit already. But
well, you know what? I'm going to actually cut to a tweet that I was going to bring up later that is on this topic, because you tweeted, my love language is not replying to texts. And I chose that because that's something very emblematic of me, especially recently. I found coming out of the pandemic, I cannot be bothered to text back and forth with people that I don't know. I just can't do it. And I think maybe you and I have that same thing where it's like, it's so much easier to go out and just connect with people. Because if you have that ability to connect with people, like, you know, personally, it's more of a task to do it over text messaging. Whereas if you're, you know, there are also people who are better over like technology and text messaging, but it's so much to ask.
Maybe when I was like 18 or 19, I'd be, you know, setting the group chat on fire or something, texting all day. But I just like, I have my phone on silent most days now. Like, I don't have notifications turned on anymore. I just like, I don't know why I have a phone, because I'll like get the text and then just forget to respond. And then especially like you said, if it's someone you don't know, like I'm not going to have like witty banter with the stranger.
All right, listen up. The best lighting for sex is a flashlight under your chin like you're about to tell a scary story.
I like that one too.
This one I actually like a lot, so I will be laughing at my own joke. But I just think that visual is so funny, because actually I was hanging out with my girlfriends one night, and we were talking, and just like, you know, you're just shooting the shit with your friends, and we started joking about different things, and like, you know, how guys try to set the mood or whatever. And I was like, you know, started joking about the music and then like, you know, weird stuff guys do. And then I was like, you know, the lighting thing for me is just hilarious. And so I was just riffing on that. And I said that. And it was one of those moments where like, you know how your friends are always like, you can use that in a bit. And I was like, okay, I'm actually going to take your advice on this one. So.
All right, I got one. Ariana, this is my last one. You said, just watched a documentary about personality tests and how ableist and racist they are. And oh boy, it's time to take your Myers-Briggs out of your dating profile.
Yes.
I brought that up because I will also watch the exact same documentary at the behest of like, I got a job during the pandemic at this place that was just a nightmare. And they hired an HR guy towards the end. They tried to hire like 3 HR people who all quit day of, but this guy they hired at the end, I wound up being friends with, and we were going out for drinks. And he brought up how one of the, he's not even one of the owners. I don't even know what the guy's job at the place was, but he came in during our interviews and tried to have us take like this just goofy internet personality quiz. And we were talking about how just like bullshit and ridiculous that even was to do. And then I watched that documentary and I was like, oh, so much more. It's just so stupid.
So,
That's
I mean,
crazy.
here's the thing. I feel like we all like things that kind of help us figure out what our place is in the world or who we are as people, like whether it's like astrology or personality tests or like, you know, whatever it is, you know. And I kind of think they're fun because like I love a quiz. I love to like tell, I'm going to give you information, you give me the details, you know. And I feel like it's become like such a thing. And then when I watched that documentary, I was like, oh no, this is bad. Like, I think it's like a fun thing still and it's interesting. But when you like start hearing about the things in the documentary or like, you know, spoiler alert for anyone, but like this guy who like could not get a job and he like committed suicide because he just felt like he could not get hired anywhere because of fundamentally who he is as a person. And like maybe that's like a, you know, an extreme example of something, but I was just sitting there like, oh wow, these are actually like very horrible things that are happening and we're just like kind of blindly and completely unaware doing these things. So yeah, it was really interesting. I highly recommend it. It opened my eyes a little bit on stuff, but I just like had to sit there and laugh and just be like, you know, people always joke like I'm an INTJ or whatever it is. It's like, you're not special, you know, like you're just like you just pack it up, you know, like go
Yeah,
home.
it's all founded on nothing. It's all bullshit. But I was actually having the same conversation with a friend of mine about the astrology too, because that's the thing is, you know, the Myers-Briggs obviously now is come out and everyone's like, all right, that's complete bullshit. But I've noticed just like maybe it's bias of me, but I've just noticed, at least within my Twitter following, just like this huge uptick in people talking about astrology and taking it like a little more seriously and like just discussing it, which yeah, a friend of mine I was talking to, and they were explaining that they found it very helpful to like kind of suss out how they thought about themselves and like you were saying, like how they interact with the world and all that, and that's important. But also I can't talk about astrology without pointing out that like it just, the very foundation of it doesn't make sense, because since it was, you know, invented, the stars have moved, so the signs wouldn't even be. And then they had to throw in like moon rising, sun setting, whatever the shit, just because it didn't make any goddamn sense.
Listen, I'm not going to claim to know much about astrology. I think it's so fun. And I've also like, you know, I understand that when people talk about astrology on social media, it's the bastardized version of it. Like people who actually study astrology are like incredibly intense about it. And like I've had my chart read before though, I will say, and this person read me for filth. I was sitting there like, I've known this person maybe 10 minutes and they already know me better than anybody I've ever met in my life. Like they told me, you know, all these things. They were like, at this age this happened to you, or you were starting to feel this, or like blah blah blah. And I was just sitting there like overwhelmed. So maybe there is something to it. I don't know. I find it fascinating, but it's that same thing, right? Like you were saying, is like everyone's kind of talking about it, and whether or not it's like founded on actually them knowing the information or just taking it at face value instead of like doing the research, or, you know, like why am I so open and okay with a random quiz, like something a random quiz tells me about myself. Like, I'm just like, yeah, that's right. Like,
Well,
crazy.
it's a known cognitive bias. It's called the Barnum effect.
Yeah.
It's where there's just something within us where we are so quick to let a vague statement. We define ourselves by these vague statements that could be true for like a bunch of different people, but it's a thing that happens in the human brain that we automatically lean into that, and I think that's why I push so hard against personality tests and like astrology and all that stuff. Is just because I'm like, I think they just biologically we got some screws loose that just make us do certain things, and I don't think it's wrong. I think it's a good way to like understand yourself, and I would support anyone who's doing it. But whenever anyone starts using it to like speak critically of people based on their like horoscopes or anything like that. What I'm saying is I am a Scorpio, which means anytime horoscopes get brought up, everyone's like, so you're a piece of shit, but you're good at fucking, huh? And I'm like, that's not, does that have to be, that's my whole personality.
Wait, Vanessa, what's your sign?
Capricorn.
Okay. People say that's the most boring sign, which is not. You're not boring at all. So
well, right? Somebody has to be the outlier.
Arijana, which are you? And tell us what it means because we don't know.
I'm a Cancer sign, which is really embarrassing. So basically, they're like known to be the crabby, sad crybabies who only want to stay at home. So they're really annoying. So I try not to tell people because same thing, right? It's like, I can't win there. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's like the memes are really fun though. Like I do love the astrology memes.
I feel like this is a good time for my last tweet from you. Met someone exactly like me, and they are absolutely unbearable. Fuck.
That's just, has this ever happened to you guys? Because it's like the worst thing in the world. Like, it's truly astounding how you like lack self-awareness of how annoying you can be as a person.
I'm trying to relate to you, but just in terms of honesty, I have to let you know that I can't quite because I'm an original. There's no one else like me. Number one of one, Arijana.
Exactly.
How would I?
Yeah. No, it's like. Yeah, it's rough, man.
No, I 100% know what you mean, and I hate it because I just from traveling into comedy scenes, like there's so many comedy scenes, but none of them are that big, and I'm constantly getting messages from people like, "Do you know this dude? He's like exactly like you. Isn't that crazy?" And like I know that guy, and I'm like, "God damn it, he is," but I don't want to admit it, so I'm gonna just keep arguing the point that like, no, there's differences.
Yeah.
It's always just another tall white guy too. I'm like, come on, we're different.
It's like the same thing when people are like, oh, you look like this person. And you're like offended when they tell you who you look like. You're like, that's what you think of me? Like, the most hideous lizard and be like, that's you, boo. And I'm like, thank you.
I remember telling you look like Hillary Duff.
Which was, okay, that's like my second favorite compliment that I've ever received in my life. Like, that's right up there.
Well, I think you look like Lizzie McGuire.
Okay, you just got first place. Okay.
Always got to one-up me, Travis.
I'm right there. I was ready.
I'm obsessed with Hillary Duff. I know I look nothing like her, but I love her so much. It's sick.
One time I was trying to get KFC and the guy at the window wouldn't give me my KFC until all the other workers had come and looked at me to see how much I look like Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, that's kind of funny because I wouldn't have said that. And now that I'm kind of like, I could see it if you had like, was your hair different? Was it?
Yeah. No, his hair was different. My face wasn't as puffy from drinking incessantly. You know what I mean? I did have a little of a Kutcher thing going on. I think I was wearing a hat, maybe a trucker hat or something too. Okay. I think that probably was part of it.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see it. Vanessa, does anyone tell you look like anyone, or do you have any doppelgangers?
Not really. I mean, when I first moved to Seattle, everyone thought I was Alyssa, but besides that,
you know what Alyssa look nothing alike. Like,
No.
no.
Like we're about the same height, and that's it.
Are you really? I always have trouble with your height, Vanessa, because to me, I always think you're so much taller than everyone else, and then I see you next to everyone, and you're the same height. And like it always, in
I
my
feel
head,
like I act tall.
That's
yeah.
so real. You have tall girl energy. You really do.
Yeah.
I always
like
think you're taller than me, and you're like barely.
No, if I even am, yeah, I was like looking at a picture from an old show where we were all like gathered around, and I was like, I'm not short. Like, hold on.
Vanessa, you kind of have that athlete energy from, being in track in college, that you just kind of like come off as an athlete a little bit more. And yeah. I guess most of the athletes I knew growing up were all taller women. So maybe there's like a connection there that's happening, but I'm just like, no, Vanessa's like 6 foot. I think she could dunk. I think Vanessa could dunk. I think I've seen her do it.
My height dysmorphia. Like, it's not just me, it's everyone.
Or maybe when we work together, you're wearing like boots or heels or something. I don't know. I don't look down that far. I wouldn't even know. Like I don't really pay attention to people's sizes as much. Just because mine is so extreme that like it just doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm really bad at guessing. Anyone between like 5 foot and 6'6", I have no idea how tall you are. Like it doesn't. That's a nowhere zone for me. Like if you're over 6'6", I can tell just from how far away you are from my head, like how tall you are. Or if you're under 5 feet, I'm always like, that's definitely under 5. I don't know what it is, but it's.
You're about 2 feet tall. Everyone else is a borrower. Like that's.
Yeah, that's the world I live in. There's Paul Bunions and borrowers and. Well, thank you so much for doing it, Arijana. We appreciate you letting us tease you about your tweets. It was very fun.
Thank you. I have some psychological things to reflect on now.
That's what I try to leave people with, is I just try to leave them with a little work to do.
Yeah. This has been humbling. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the only way that these ever turn out. Well, thank you so much for doing it. We will promote your socials. And again, was there anything to promote other than blog? Yeah, the blog.
Yeah, check out the blog.
Cool. Everybody go check that out. Follow Arijana online. She's very funny. Thank you so much for checking it out. Subscribe. Check out every other video that we have. And let's see, I got a Patreon, and if you put $1 in, it's $1 at the end of every month. I give half of the Patreon earnings to a patron of the month, and then the other 25% goes to a charity. So check that out if you want. All right, bye everybody.
Bye y'all.
Bye.